So yes, this is indeed the end of the saga of Wizard video games. But not the beginning. That's right, I'm back to conclude the twisted tale of Wizard video games. Now, if you think back to my first video on the topic, you may recall some strange anomalies, such as the fact that there is a gunman on the cover art for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, despite there not being one in the game or in the movie. And also, there's the fact that the pre-release advertising states,
that lets you play the part of the vengeful Leatherface, or an innocent victim looking for safety.
Despite that also not being a thing that is in the game. Well, the solution to these mysteries can be found in this unassuming Atari 2600 cartridge. What we have here is a prototype of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which, according to legend, was found in a thrift store, then sold to a collector, before eventually making its way onto the web, where people like me found it and made stupid videos about it. So let's take a look at the other Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Alright, so most obviously this game looks considerably different. As in the released version, you play as Leatherface, but in this version he is represented by a waggling purple stick figure, and has the added ability to create blocks that last for about 8 seconds. Once again, the goal is to chainsaw massacre as many fleeing victims as you can within a time limit. However, this time there is a bit more strategy involved due to the layout and aforementioned ability to place blocks. Also, the victim can fight back, which makes things considerably more difficult. This goes on for about 4.5 minutes, and then the game is over. Additionally, this version has 4 game modes, whereas the release version had 1. And I can't say what, if anything, the difficulty switches do, as they don't seem to have any effect, and obviously there is no documentation. And that's it. So, the obvious question here is, why are there 2 completely different versions of the same game? And unfortunately, the answer is, we don't really know. So, we must speculate, and the most reasonable speculation is that Wizard Video Games hired a programmer to make this game, then received the game, did not like it, and hired a different programmer to make a different game. And this is somewhat supported by the evidence. As seen before, the pre-release advertising for the game is where you get that reference to playing an innocent survivor, whereas in the post-release advertising and on the box art, the line about playing as an innocent victim is in fact gone. Although they left the gunman on the box art probably because art is expensive and they'd already sunk enough money into this game at that point. Also, it was advertised as having a release window of Christmas 1982, and by all reports the game did not come out until 1983, which would make sense if they had to, say, remake the entire game. And honestly, it kind of makes sense if you just look at the 2 games. Like, one might be a little bit better from a gameplay perspective, but the other looks much, much more like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. And that's what they were selling it on. The fact that it was a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, the fact that it was violent, that it had the blood. Really, they were just selling it on the spectacle of it. And honestly, I kind of agree with the decision, because while they're both bad games, at least the release version has some novelty to it. And that's it. I don't have anything else to say about Wizard video games. Until such time as the prototype for Flesh Gordon emerges, I am done discussing this company and their products. Alright, thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, why not hit all the lovely buttons down there, and consider subscribing so you can see all of my other videos when they come out. I do quite a few on various types of obscure media, so if you enjoyed this, you might enjoy those as well. Well, until next time.